We're back, we're live, we're in Hawaii, the state of energy, the state of clean energy, here on Energy Wednesdays. And I want to be clear about this. The opinions expressed in this program may not be our opinions either. We're not sure where they're coming from, but they're important, valid, valuable opinions. And with joining me today, Ray Starling, my co-host. Say hello, Ray.
Hello, Jay.
And our special guest of the day, from down under, is Liam O'Neill. Not Lisa, but O'Neill.
That's right.
It's great to have you on the show, and I don't know any other Liams at all.
Thank you. Yes.
And you can tell immediately from Liam's accent that he is not from this country. He is from down under, and it is not entirely clear from the accent whether he is from New Zealand or from Australia. He's got a little of each in his accent. Am I right, Liam?
Yes. G'day, Ray. I am from down under. That is correct.
Not bad, considering Liam was born in Cincinnati. So you're from Tasmania.
I'm from Tasmania, which is the small island off the coast of mainland Australia.
How far off the coast is Tasmania?
300 kilometers.
That's substantial. It's 200 miles.
Yes.
So that's an important factor, actually, for our whole discussion.
That's right.
And Liam works for Hydro Tasmania, and in that regard, he is unique, because he is the first guest we have ever had on this or any of our other shows from Hydro Tasmania. And we're going to study Hydro Tasmania, see what it does, and see why you're here and what you have taught people and what you have learned. So, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Great to be here.
Okay, and for our start, as always, we'll have the
Negawatt moment.
Negawatt moment. I always want to say nanowatt when I say negawatt. Okay, it's a negawatt. Remember that, Jay. And we're going to have Carolyn Carl on, and she's going to talk about fridges. Right, Carolyn?
Yes, I am. Our new program, the Rid of Fridge to Fight Hunger, which is actually an enhancement of our Bounty program, which, if you're not familiar with, is a program that allows customers to get rid of those old Energy Hog refrigerators for free and also get a rebate for doing so.
This is really important. So let's talk about what an old refrige is. I mean, any refrige I want to get rid of, is that an old refrige?
Old working refrigerator. So you know that refrigerator in your garage that's plugged in, that's got,
The one with the beer in it.
Oh, I wasn't going to say that, but yeah, so that extra refrigerator, those are usually big energy hogs. So we encourage residents to think about getting rid of that fridge, because you can save a tremendous amount of energy for doing so. And with our new promotion, instead of taking the rebate, you can actually donate it to the local food banks.
Donate the refrigerator to a food bank?
The rebate.
But then that means that, the rebate.
The rebate,
the money. Where does the refrigerator go? I feel like I'm separating from a member of the family,
Yeah, no. So we actually have an incredible program where we take the refrigerator, you call us up, we arrange for the pickup, and it is recycled. So it's broken down and taken, all of the scrap metal is properly recycled and is actually resold. And so
in pieces.
In pieces.
You wouldn't keep it together, because by definition it's an energy hog.
Exactly. Yeah. So they take it apart and properly separate out the metals and the plastics, and then they are passed on into the market and resold, reused.
We had a refrigerator once that was so big and so heavy that 3 guys came to the house, and this was an inherited refrigerator, not anything we bought. And 3 guys came to the house, and they said, "Oh no, this is too big for us," and they left. And they left. They didn't take the refrigerator. So are you telling me that no matter how big, no matter how heavy, you'll take it?
I'm telling you that as long as it's a full-size refrigerator, so at least 14 cubic feet, we will take it off of your hands. So you just have to call us and schedule the pickup. We've had refrigerators as old as 60 years old.
Still working.
Yep, still working. So we get them off the grid, never to waste energy again, and then the participants get a rebate for doing so. And now they have the opportunity to donate that rebate to help fight hunger, giving it to a local food bank.
That's incredible. It's got 3 good things about it.
Yeah.
One is, it's not on the grid anymore. It's not burning up, a lot of energy. 2 is, it's out of your house. Okay, that's really something, because you try to get one of those suckers, I can tell you from my own experience, get out of your house. That's a major experience, and for you to take it away, it's a great gift.
Yeah.
for me. And the third is the rebate, which I can either keep for my own, retirement plan, or I can give to a food bank.
So, yep, here on Oahu is the Hawaii Food Bank, and then the Maui Food Bank, and the Food Basket on the Big Island.
And does that mean I can deduct it from my taxes?
You would want to talk to your
Okay, it's not like an issue anyway. Any ideas about that? Deductibility?
You're the tax attorney.
I want to talk to my tax attorney about
I would.
that. Okay. Okay, so how much money are we talking about? I always like to ask these questions.
Oh, absolutely. So here on Oahu, it's a $25 rebate, and then on the neighbor islands, Maui and the Big Island, it's $65.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Why is
So-
there a differentiation?
Well, a lot of it, our program is designed for participation and cost effectiveness for the area that you're in. And so we have found that the increased incentive on the neighbor islands really brings out more participation
Yeah.
for these types of programs. Getting
Yeah.
rid of that extra fridge perhaps takes a little more of an incentive in the more rural areas.
So the program is already in operation, or are you just rolling it out now?
So the
Are we
boun-
getting a scoop on this, Carolyn?
Oh, well, the bounty's been in operation since 2011, and we've had some great success over the last 2 years. Now, the rollout for this Rid a Fridge promotion with the local food banks just started October 14th. And
Okay,
we'll
well,
continue through this program
just a
here.
week ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just a week ago.
that's
So
great.
yeah, you're on the cutting edge.
All right, well, thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. So just remember, you can either call and schedule a pickup, so 537-5577.
Did you say 537-577?
577. 5577.
Starting again.
Yes.
537-5577,
Yep. 5577.
okay.
Or you could visit the website, hawaiienergy.com, and we have a lot more information there.
Excellent. You guys come up with great programs. You're doing great work. You are helping us become efficient. And when we say negawatt moment, did I say that right? When we say negawatt moment, we're not kidding, because that really helps reduce the amount of energy we use. And Liam O'Neill will agree, am I right?
Yeah, and with all the money you're saving in electricity, you can spend that on buying more beer. So don't worry about the beer not being cold in the fridge.
Spoken
Yeah,
like
just-
a great Aussie.
This does not affect your beer supply at all. That's the fourth benefit. Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you, Jay.
Nice work. Nice work by Hawaii Energy. Okay, we're going to go to a short break right now, and then we'll come back and we'll talk to Liam O'Neill on clean energy down under. We'll find out what's going on in Australia, in Tasmania specifically, and what we can learn from it. Also, we'll find what Liam has learned in his trip here to Hawaii. So we'll take a short break. We'll be right back here on ThinkTech.
Aloha, my name is Dan Bauer and I'm the General Manager of the Plaza Club. The Plaza Club is Honolulu's premier business club. We're located in the heart of the financial district on historic Fort Street Mall. On the 20th and 21st floors atop the Pioneer Plaza, our commanding skylight views, along with our award-winning cuisine and service, are known as the place to do business downtown. We offer professional as well as social events and programs to our members and their guests, all tailored to enrich their professional and personal lives and to give them the cutting edge that they deserve in business. Why don't you consider becoming a member of the club? Call me at 531-7788 or come see me and let's talk business and how the Plaza Club can work for you. Again, my name is Dan Bauer. I'm the General Manager of the club and I'm here for you.
Aloha, I'm Jay Fidel, founder of ThinkTech Hawaii. We are a digital media nonprofit that covers things that matter to tech, energy, diversification, globalism, and progress for our state, the state of Hawaii. We broadcast on community television and on Oceanic Cable Channel 16. We also stream our shows and interviews live on the internet as both radio and video, and of course we post them here on YouTube. We collaborate with the Hawaii Venture Capital Association to present monthly luncheon programs on subjects of interest to the business community. And we write for the Honolulu Star Advertiser. ThinkTech works hard to raise public awareness in Hawaii. Check out our website, thinktechhawaii.com, and come to our YouTube channel, ThinkTech Hawaii. We hope you support our mission and that you like our work. I'm Jay Fidel. Mahalo.
I'm Bill Spencer, President of the Hawaii Venture Capital Association. We do monthly luncheon programs with ThinkTech about things that matter to Hawaii entrepreneurs, investors, and business service providers. So join us on the fourth Thursday of every month at the Plaza Club. For information about upcoming events or to join our mailing list, visit hvca.org. See you there.
Aloha, I'm Maria Kashem of ThinkTech Hawaii, and I want to tell you about our ThinkTech talk shows. If you didn't know it, ThinkTech streams video and audio for all of its shows live on the internet from 2 to 5 p.m. every weekday afternoon, and we replay them all night long on ustream.tv. Visit thinktechhawaii.com for our live stream and YouTube links. Raise your awareness on ThinkTech. I'm Maria Kashem, and I'll see you there.
Hi, I'm Steve Petranek, editor of Hawaii Business Magazine, and I'm going to be part of Newsmorphosis 3, a look at online news in Hawaii. And along with me there will be Patty Epler of Civil Beat and HuffPost Hawaii, Malia Zimmerman of Hawaii Reporter, Jared Kuroiwa of KHON, and moderating us all is Howard Dykes of Hawaii News Now. If you want to know how Hawaii it gets its news now and will be getting it in the future, you need to be at Newsmorphosis 3. That's at 11:30 on October 24th at the Plaza Club. See you then.
Aloha, I'm Sharon Moriwaki with the Hawaii Energy Policy Forum. Please join Jay Fidel and me every Wednesday, 4 o'clock p.m. on Energy Wednesday. See you then.
We're back, we're live, we're ThinkTech, we're Hawaii, the state of clean energy on Energy Wednesdays. And our special guest today is Liam O'Neill from Hydro Tasmania. I love that because I like Australia a lot. I like New Zealand too.
I'm liking Hawaii from what I've seen so far.
You should. And Ray Starling joins me as co-host. And I want to take a moment and just tell you how we're broadcasting. First of all, we're on the radio, AM 760 KGU. And if you're listening to the radio, stuck in traffic, what have you, you can call us and ask embarrassing questions if you like. The number is 296. You're okay with that, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Bring them on.
Bring them on. The number is 296-5467. That's 296-5467. And if you want to do, what is it, Rid a Fridge? You can call us on that number too, and we'll put you in touch with the right people. Ray will. We're also broadcasting on Ustream, on live video, live streaming, and we're broadcasting on Spreaker.com, which is also live streaming, but that's audio. And ultimately, this show will be, in a little while after it's done, it'll be on YouTube, and then Olelo 54. So this is going out into the nether. Everything you say, Liam, no pressure. Everything you say will be out there like forever.
All right.
Okay, no pressure. So, getting back to exactly who you are, I just wanted to get a handle on, first, who is Hydro Tasmania, and what do they do?
All right. Hydro Tasmania is an awesome company in Australia. We produce the largest amount of clean energy than anybody else in Australia. We've got 30 hydro power stations, and we've currently got 3 wind farms with ambitions to build more.
These are big.
Big.
What are you talking about in total megawatts with this?
Yeah.
You do count it in megawatts over there.
We do count it in megawatts, and this is going to be one of those answers I put out there. It's probably going to be wrong, but I believe it is around 9,000 megawatt hours a year.
Okay.
So that's megawatt
What's the
hours.
population of Tasmania?
500,000 people.
Oh, wow, okay. All right, so now Tasmania is an island. Tasmania has an interesting topography. It has mountains, it has rivers.
Yes.
It's a big place. What's, the square mileage? Do they use miles down there?
I do not know, but it's 350 kilometers from top to bottom, and about 250 kilometers wide.
Okay, well that's bigger than Oahu for sure. It sounds more like bigger than Big Island, maybe.
It's approaching the Big Island, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so now what is the situation? You mentioned in the break just now that Tasmania, 80% of Tasmania's electrical power is generated from renewables. Yeah. And after I gagged a little, you began to explain. But why don't you explain to the people?
All right.
How do you achieve that?
Well, about 100 years ago, we started building hydro power stations. And we've now got, as I said, 30 hydro power stations, which produces an enormous amount of clean, renewable energy.
That's your primary source of renewable?
The primary source is hydropower, yes.
And how did you get there? I mean, did anybody stand up and say, wait a minute, you're devastating the environment? Did they say that?
Well, 100 years ago, the environmental legislation wasn't all that strong. So the majority of the power stations were built at least 50 years ago.
Okay.
So we're not looking to expand our hydro production, but we are looking to build more wind power.
You said that 5 out of the 6 rivers in Tasmania had already been...
There's only one river left in Tasmania that hasn't been dammed at some point by Hydro Tasmania.
Okay. Is it dammable? I mean, would it provide additional...
It would, but we don't want to because it's really good whitewater rafting.
Get your priorities.
Priorities. I should mention that Liam is also a surfer, surfs in Tasmania, surfs in California, and surfs in Hawaii.
Soon to be surfing in Hawaii, I hope so, yeah.
We are happy with that. Okay, so what else you got beside the hydro in Tasmania?
So we're kind of an unusual case in that we're clean, green, renewable. The majority of Australia is from thermal, so coal.
Geothermal?
No, thermal power is in brown coal, black coal, and gas.
You don't have that?
No. So we're clean, green, awesome in Tasmania, and the rest of Australia really wanted to have a bit of a taste of our beautiful clean energy, so we ended up plugging ourselves into the mainland. We built the second largest undersea cable in the world that joins us, and it goes 200 miles underwater,
200 miles.
And then plugs into Victoria in mainland Australia.
How deep is it? How deep is the water there? I mean,
You're asking these tricky questions. We didn't.
It's all a trick question.
Can I kind of make up a number? I'm not sure how deep, but it is.
It's not quite as deep as.
It's not quite as deep as the channel from here to Maui. Certainly, the channel from Maui to the Big Island is very deep.
Yes.
Even with a really big deep breath, I don't think you get down there to see it.
Bigger than a bread box?
Yeah, it's.
Okay. If anybody knows out there, call us at 296-5467. Okay, so you had wind, and you have a lot of PV.
Yes. So in Australia, 1 in 8 houses have solar PV on their roof.
All of Australia.
Yeah, so it's over 1 million houses have solar PV on their roof.
And in Tasmania?
I'm not sure what the number is in Tasmania, but when you're driving along, you definitely notice there's a lot of solar PV. The government's really encouraged people to get out there and generate their own clean, renewable energy.
How do they encourage them with money?
Money is a good way to encourage people. It is quite effective. So there's you can get around about 30% of your system paid for by the government in Australia.
Oh, okay, all right.
So one of the comparisons that we've been making is how they view their situation as we view ours here, where we've got a lot of renewable in a location where there's not a whole lot of need for it. So having to move renewable from the outer islands here, the neighbor islands, to Oahu, which is where the bulk of the load is a big deal. And that's really what we started talking about initially, was the cable, because I had not met anybody from a utility that had an undersea cable, and certainly not the second longest on the planet. So
it is the second longest on the planet?
It is. We are only beaten. There's one between Norway and the Netherlands. That's about 500, so it's almost twice as long.
That's the energy is going from Norway to the Netherlands?
So the cables go both way. I can't speak for the European cable, but for us it works really well because we've got such a large amount of hydropower, we're quite vulnerable to droughts. So we recently went through a 10-year drought, and if we go through an extended drought, our rivers and our lakes get low enough that we can't produce enough power to meet the needs of Tasmania. So in that case, we can bring over electricity from mainland Australia. So it's a great way to future-proof our energy supply. Yeah. And then at the same time, when it's been raining a lot, which happens quite a bit in Tasmania, we get lots of rainfall, we can use all that water to produce electricity and send it to mainland Australia. Whereas if we weren't connected, that water would end up just spilling the power stations and not using that water to produce electricity. It'd be a bit of a waste of energy, really.
So what happened to the last 20%? Why don't you have the whole thing covered?
Well, that 20% is the electricity we bring from mainland Australia.
Oh, I see. So it could be anything.
And the reason we do that is because we can turn on hydropower really quickly. We can actually meet the peak demands in mainland Australia, some of the peaks, which is you get a lot of, you can make good profits from doing that. You're providing peak load. So what we'll do is we'll bring electricity in during the non-peaks, the cheap periods, and then we'll sell it back through during the peaks. So for the
Tricky,
same amount of energy,
tricky.
we're getting more profits from that.
That's great. So it's as simple as just selling it or buying it, whatever the case
Yeah,
may be.
it's a gross pool market, they call it in Australia, but everything goes into the bucket and then comes back out again.
I love that. So can you tell us, another trick question now, can you tell us what the buy and sell rate is?
I have no idea.
Okay, all right.
In that situation, should I make things up or should I just say?
No, this is the right thing. This is the right thing. So that's good.
He just makes it.
Right. Okay, what do you do for Hydro Tasmania?
So I encourage energy efficiency. So we're trying to come up with ways where we can help our customers improve their energy efficiency. And we're doing that, one, because it's a great thing to do, a great thing to do for the community, and also two, energy efficiency is being so successful in Australia that we're actually using less and less electricity. So that means that as an energy company, we're selling less electricity. So if we can come up with other solutions that we can sell in terms of an energy efficient technology or energy efficient advice that people are happy to pay for because they're getting value from it, then that makes up for the less electricity we're selling.
So Hydro Tasmania, through you, is doing energy efficiency like Ray does for Hawaii Energy here.
Yes, through me and a very big, cool team that I work with.
Okay, so
I better say that because they might be watching.
well, shout out to all the people in Tasmania, right? They're all watching.
Yeah, yeah.
This is live, real time.
How
Right
you going,
now.
guys? I'm working hard, as you can see. I'm not just surfing. Yeah, I told you.
Tomorrow morning. So, the other thing is you're here on a trip, and you seem to know Ray pretty well. So I gather the trip has something to do with Hawaii Energy. What's the deal, actually, Liam?
Well, I don't know if Ray wants to take this, but I was at a conference in Nashville, Tennessee, and I met Ray, and we just got chatting, and it became apparent that a lot of the challenges that we have in Tasmania, Hawaii has actually got similar challenges. So we were talking about what we're working on, and it just seemed really similar. We're both working on similar things, so we thought, hey, we should get together and keep in touch, talk these things through, help each other out.
Is your recollection the same, Ray?
That's about it. Yeah, we had Dave Parsons, who's an economist from the PUC, who was there, and we struck up a conversation, and it happened pretty much the way Liam said. So we're very happy to have him here. I actually drug him off the airplane to get him over here.
Fabulous.
He just rolled into town from Los Angeles on his way back, and he back to Down Under, and he had told us that he was going to spend a couple of days here. So we said, hey, look, let's make the most of this, and so we got him on your show, and tomorrow we're going to have an informal luncheon with some of the PUC commissioners and some of their staff, and let them work him over for information about what their experience has been in Tasmania.
It's like everything that happens in Australia is fresh. It's like island innovation, right?
Yeah.
If you live on an island, you have to be innovative.
Yeah.
That's what you guys are
I
doing.
think it makes you better looking as well if you live on an island. I think I read that somewhere.
Ray and I both noticed that. No further comment. So what kinds of solutions in terms of efficiency are you using in Tasmania? For example, do you have the Rid a Fridge program over there?
We have run similar programs before, and they're really effective, and it's a great way to get rid of these energy-hungry fridges that aren't really doing much, sitting in the garage on all year round, and they maybe get used 3 or 4 times a year for that barbecue. Someone wants to throw a shrimp on the barbie. That's about the only time they get used. It's good. So we're doing other things. Energy-efficient lighting is big. So these blinding lights we've got shining on us right now are LEDs, which are,
of course, they are.
Low energy. It's great to see.
You're ashamed if they
Should have
weren't.
been here a year ago. He had incandescent bulbs, which
dear
he
me.
finally got to CFL bulbs, and now he's got LEDs. And the greatest difference is the temperature in this room is so much cooler than it was in the early days.
Yeah.
You get a suntan in the early days there in his old
Feel the
studio.
heat.
But we're also doing things with refrigeration and air conditioning, and we're also just trying to educate our customers. So rather than just get an electricity bill once every 3 months that tells you roughly how much energy you're using, Instead, you can get an online portal where at any point you can jump on your phone or on your computer and have a look, and wow, that's how much energy I'm using up till yesterday. Or eventually we're going to get real time, so you can go up to your toaster, put it on, and then you'll see a spike in your electricity and go, oh, that's how much my toaster uses. And you might be able to go around the house and switch off different things. Say, why am I using so much electricity right now? Oh, well, the TV's on standby, and that second fridge out in the garage is actually using quite a bit of energy. So these are the sort of things we're looking at.
Well, that's great. So smart grid kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
The thing is, you don't think of that. Hobart, right, is the capital
Yes, Hobart.
of the city.
Great place to live.
Yes.
Good surf nearby.
Yes. But people don't know. I mean, and actually, we here in Hawaii, we're closer to it than the mainland U.S.
Yep.
And we should know more about Hobart.
Yeah, you should
know more
come
about
visit.
Tasmania. Yeah.
Go Tourism Tasmania.
Is there tourism in Tasmania?
Yeah, it's huge. We've just a museum called Mona, which is a museum of old and new art.
I love that.
It's
That's
just
great. Yeah.
it's just opened up a couple of years ago, and it is the largest private museum that's open to the public in the Southern Hemisphere. And it's even just the architecture of the building is fantastic. It's a great place to go visit for sure. And some other innovative things we're doing out on King Island, which is a small island off the coast of Tasmania. We had some issues because we were using diesel to generate electricity out there, and we were having to ship the diesel out to the island, and it was just costing a lot of money, really. So what we've done is we've built a bunch of wind farms out there, well, 2 wind farms, quite big, and we're doing lots of fancy things to be able to balance out when we use the diesel and when we use the wind, because you can imagine wind's up and down depending if it's blowing or if it's a still day. So we've actually got a system where we can switch off people's hot water systems if the wind drops off within 0.2 of a second.
Ooh.
So the wind's blowing, we're generating 100% renewable energy. Oh, the wind's dropping off. Well, we don't want to turn that diesel off yet. Is there something else we can do to balance it? So we can turn off 200 houses, just like that. We can turn off all their hot water system, and a hot water tank is like a battery, so it doesn't really affect it if it's turned off for a couple of minutes. Flip it back on again. Other things we're doing is we're installing the largest battery system in Australia. So when the wind's blowing so much and no one's using it, we can store it in the battery. We can pull that on when the wind drops off.
Who makes it?
Who makes
The
it?
battery system.
I am not sure. You're really good at asking these tricky questions.
Sorry.
I'll have to get back to you on that one, Jay.
No, but that's great that you have a battery system that big. You guys are very sophisticated, We have to know more about this.
Yeah.
And we are going to know more about
Yeah,
this.
we're going to set up a partnership. We're going to be sister companies or something like that.
Yeah.
Me and Ray are going to sort out the details tomorrow.
Okay.
But there's a lot to share, and it's exciting. It's exciting to share all this new innovation.
But we'll be back to talk more about that in a minute. We'll take a short break. This is Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, every Wednesday, Energy Wednesday, with Liam O'Neill today from Hydro Tasmania, and my co-host Ray Starling will be right back after this break.
Aloha, I'm Nicole Horry for ThinkTech. For nearly half a century, the Hawaii Foreign Trade Zone No. 9 has brought the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone program to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. DBET, the Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism, operates Hawaii's Foreign Trade Zone program to encourage international business and economic development. The Foreign Trade Zone's mission is to increase the amount of international trading activity in Hawaii, thereby providing employment opportunities for the residents of our island state. For more information, see ftz9.org. I'm Nicole Horry. Mahalo.
You're probably wondering why we've called you here today. There are things in the world you just got to get your head around. I know for one, it's a lot of work. Thank God that there is a place where I can go and hear meaningful dialogue over my screen. ThinkTech. Be there or be illiterate.
Aloha, I'm Jay Fidel. This is Think Tech Hawaii, broadcasting live from the Pioneer Plaza in downtown Honolulu. We raise public awareness about tech, energy, and globalism in Hawaii. Technology is critical to our state. A vibrant tech sector will give us new prospects in the global marketplace and will offer great careers and make our economy more resilient. Streaming live on Ustream and Spreaker, ThinkTech allows its hosts and guests invaluable opportunities to report important events and discuss important questions, and to be heard here in Hawaii and around the world. You can find links to our live streams on thinktechhawaii.com or on our mobile website, m.thinktechhawaii.com. And you can see our archive on YouTube. It's all just a click away. We want to do whatever we can to keep Hawaii relevant, connected, and thriving in the complexity of the 21st century. We hope you will help us in those efforts. Tune in today. This is Think Tech. I'm Jay Fidel. Mahalo.
I'm David Day, the host of Asian Review. This is a Think Tech program in which we take the issues of the Asia-Pacific region, whether they be in business, in foreign policy, in national security, or geopolitics. And we take
these breaks are fabulous. We learn so much, Ray, on these breaks. It's just everything sort of tumbles out. I don't know what it is. We're talking to Liam O'Neill today with Hydro Tasmania, which is what, the only utility in Tasmania?
The only electricity generator in Tasmania.
Okay, fair enough. And here on Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy. And during the break, we started really getting into some valuable stuff. So, you know, I asked you, you know, what you said you had batteries. What else do you have there to smooth out the curve? What else do you have there when, you know, like the sun isn't shining or the wind isn't blowing or it's non-firm for some reason?
All right, so we're talking about King Island, the small island just off the coast of Tasmania. And as well as the wind power and the load control, we can actually switch off people's hot water systems, and the battery system, which is quite large and impressive. We also have set up some small diesel generators with ginormous flywheels on the side. And when the wind's really blowing, we get these really heavy flywheels spinning, which builds up momentum. And then when the wind drops off, there's enough inertia in that system to then kickstart the diesel generator if needed, if we can't balance that load through the switching off people's hot water systems or using the battery. So that's
right. You know, I remember at the peaking plant here, peaking plant needs a sort of black start machine.
Right.
And the black start machine is a whole big diesel thing, but it's smaller and it starts the big diesel.
Yeah.
You don't need that if you have the flywheel. You bypass that whole problem.
Yeah, so it's still linked to a small diesel generator that just keeps it ticking over if the wind's not enough. But what we plan to do is make that biodiesel. So we're trying to get as many periods as possible where we're 100% renewable. So before we went in there, it was 100% diesel. Now we're up to an average of 65% renewable with periods of 100% renewable, and we just plan to keep chipping away at that.
And that's the way you maintain you know, the supply, even if you have non-firm problems.
Yes.
That's great. You are well advanced there in Tasmania.
I believe we brag that it's the most advanced system in the world.
How come we didn't know this before? How come we were not advised of this earlier?
I'm not sure. We've just been hard at it, down under, working away. We've only just got the system up and running in the last month or so. So it's all very new and exciting.
Yeah, it really is. So, wow. I mean, wow. I'm feeling the energy, excuse the expression. And we are so happy to have you here because you tell us about this stuff.
And not only that, but we're also now thinking about stepping it up again, and we're thinking about, well, we're asking the island people if they'd like us to extend the wind even further and build the largest wind farm in the southern hemisphere on King Island. So we're currently having a bit of a look around, doing a bit of study to see if that would be a sensible thing to do. And what we'd do there is we'd get another cable and we'd connect King Island up to the mainland of Australia.
Directly, not to Tasmania, but directly to...
Both ways. So directly to...
It's not connected now.
No, not connected at the moment.
This is happening then.
Yeah.
And it sounds like King Island is your laboratory, right? It's where you're doing all the more sophisticated... test bed, yeah. Whoa, what makes Tasmania and King Island like this? What is it in the government or the people or public opinion that makes it want to do this?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So the Australian government's really good at driving energy efficiency and driving innovation. And Hydro Tasmania as a company just has this drive to really push the boundaries and find out how can we drive energy efficiency and drive renewable energy. That's really our core business. So we're pushing the boundaries in the world on how can we maximize renewable energy in these really tough environments of a small island community, and then we can roll out that solution to maybe a remote mine site or like a Pacific island or somewhere else that's currently
Honolulu, Hawaii.
Or in Honolulu, Hawaii. So wherever someone's...
I see other trips in your future.
That could be quite nice, yeah.
So,
we'll see how good the surf is.
What about the people? You know, I wanted to know, what about the people? Are they behind this? Do you have political will going on? Or do you have what I call a differentiation? Maybe to use that term.
We have lots of good debate going on, which is always healthy.
Mm-hmm.
The people of Tasmania are very proud of how clean and green the state is. So we've got lots of beautiful forests, and a lot of that forest is locked up. We've got lots of renewable energy. So some people do feel a little bit uncomfortable with us sharing that clean green energy with the rest of Australia. They sort of feel like they'd prefer to be using that electricity themselves and feeling good about using clean green energy.
So they don't like selling it to the mainland?
Some people would prefer we kept it and used it ourselves, but the fact of the matter is at times we have too much energy to use, and if we don't produce that electricity, it would just be running through our system as spill. So if you want to make really good use of it and maximise renewable energy in the country of Australia, it really does make sense to share it around those less fortunate without the renewable resources close at hand, like we're so lucky to have.
I love that. The mainland in Australia is less fortunate than Tasmania.
If you're going to go anywhere in Australia, you want to make your way down to Tasmania. Bypass
we'll be there.
Sydney, Melbourne, Perth. It's all happening in Hobart, Tasmania.
So now do people, do people go along with this? I mean, are they as excited as you are? If I stopped somebody on the street and said, what do you think about renewable energy in Tasmania, Hobart or King Island, would they say, well, we are the best in the world, we really make progress?
Well, on King Island, we recently did a survey to test how engaged the King Island community was on expanding the wind generation, and 59% said yes, let's do it. Let's look into expanding this, because that's producing jobs, that's creating more renewable energy. You know, they're still producing 35% of their energy on average from diesel. So I think the island's pretty keen to move away from that. They understand that's really expensive. You got to ship it all the way out there. Mm-hmm. So I think the majority are really behind the clean energy, the energy efficiency push. But again, it's education. If you guys hadn't heard about it, so we need to really step up the bar of telling the rest of the world about this and telling our own people. So a lot of people in Tasmania wouldn't be aware that we have the world's most advanced renewable integration project going on Little Wee King Island. So I think that's an area we can really up our ante on.
So where's the leadership coming from in this? Ray and I have talked about this many times. Who's at the front on this?
I think it's a combination, really. Yeah. I think as I said, the Australian government's really good at driving energy efficiency and driving renewable energy. They have a goal for the whole country to be 20% renewable energy by 2020, which is really driving a lot of it. We're currently at about 13% renewable.
Okay, so what about Tasmania itself? Because it sounds like a lot of the push is in Tasmania itself.
Yeah, there's a lot of innovative people in Tasmania. So as I said, Hydro Tasmania, we're all about renewable energy. We're the largest renewable energy company in Australia, so we're always keen to produce more and more renewable energy. So King Island we saw as a great test bed. I mean, it's an isolated island currently relying on a very expensive fuel source. So if you're going to prove to the world that you can really make a difference in these island communities with renewables, we're better than King Island.
Yes. So what about the government? Do you have good process in the government? For example, if I think of a project like a wind farm, how long is it going to take me to get the permitting done?
So the real challenge with wind farms is getting the approvals and from people who live close by. There's a lot of concerns about health effects and the noise of wind farms. So that's a big stumbling block in Australia, especially in Victoria. There's now some pretty tough legislation that you really have to build those wind farms nowhere near anybody else, which makes it tricky. Now, I think there's been a lot of research that shows that some of these health effects may not be as accurate as some people would have you believe. But that's a big challenge that I'd imagine you'd experience in other parts of the world as well. Convincing people that it's worth the big tower that spins around. It's worth having that eyesore. Well, I think they're actually quite awesome to look at.
I personally think they're beautiful. I think it's a work of art. It's a ballet.
Yeah. You know. And I don't know if we could mix in the sound of a wind farm to some sort of really good DJ or something. I don't know. Get past that issue.
Sell a CD with just wind farm music.
Yeah, get people on board. Yeah. Go to sleep on that. It's beautiful.
But there is some objection to it.
Yes.
Is there anybody in Tasmania who makes the argument that all this renewables is actually damaging to the environment and therefore have to be limited?
So there is a massive argument going on, or debate going on in Australia at the moment around the carbon price, which links into clean energy. So currently Australia has a price on carbon. So for every tonne of carbon dioxide you emit, you have to pay about $24, which is a great way to encourage people to, make sure you're not releasing carbon if you don't have to. If you can cut back, that's going to save you money. But what the new government that's come in now, the Liberal government under Tony Abbott, they're going to cut that, get rid of it completely, put that to zero, and then have a direct action where they just go out and plant trees essentially and do a few other projects like that, more direct action rather than a market driven. So that's a lot of debate. A lot of people are saying, look, we're not happy about this price on carbon because it does increase electricity. It increases people's electricity bill by about 10%. They're not happy about that. A lot of industry, they're hurting because if you're a carbon intensive industry, like if you're a smelter, like a metal smelter, you're using a lot of electricity, which is costing you a lot of money because of the carbon emissions. So they're really lobbying to get rid of the carbon price. But then on the other hand, you got the more green sort of minded people saying, look, this is actually great to be driving this cleaner way of living, really. And I'm sure some industries are going to be hurting because there's a cost associated with their emissions, but they should be paying for those emissions. They shouldn't be getting away with that for free. So there is a lot of debate going on in Australia at the moment on these issues. They're a very, very hot topic.
Well, it's great that such a level of awareness, anyway.
Yes.
People are aware of the issues
and
the progress. Well, that's great. Liam, we're going to take one more break and we'll come back and we'll talk about what you and Ray have been talking about, okay? And what you expect to talk about in the morning.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, that's Liam O'Neill. He's with Hydro Tasmania. The first time we've had anybody from Hydro Tasmania, but I hope it's not the last. Okay, we're talking about Hawaii and the state of clean energy here on Think Tech Wednesday. We'll be right back after this short break.
We want to thank our underwriters.
Hawaiian Electric Company and its affiliates Maui Electric on Maui and Hawaii Electric Light Company on Hawaii Island are deeply committed to the communities they serve.
Galen Ho is a senior executive of BAE Systems, a global defense, security, and aerospace company.
The High Tech Development Corporation, the state's leading technology agency, attached to the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism.
Castle and Cook Hawaii, with a time-honored legacy that spans more than 160 years and revolves around its mission of investing in Hawaii, creating communities, and providing for the needs of our state.
Hawaii Gas, formerly the Gas Company, a proponent of the Liquefied Natural Gas Initiative, helping Hawaii achieve its transition to clean energy and a better energy future.
Collateral Analytics, a Hawaii-based tech company empowering the real estate industry with greater and faster access to the tools and data they need to make better informed property investment decisions.
I'm Nicole Horry. Thanks so much for joining us on Think Tech.
I'm Maria Kashem. See you next time.
Aloha, I'm Jay Fidel of Think Tech Hawaii. We have a program with the Hawaii Venture Capital Association on October 24th, Thursday, entitled Newsmorphosis 3 Online. Is our online news media doing its job? We have Jerry Burris for opening remarks, Howard Dykes is moderator, and a blue ribbon panel of journalists to discuss exactly what's happening in online news. Sign up at hvca.org and come on down and see us, network, enjoy the discussion, raise your awareness on Think Tech at this program. October 24th, we'll see you there. Aloha, I'm Jay Fidel. Hi, I'm Jay Fidel. Yes, this is Think Tech, broadcasting on Ustream and Spreaker both day and night, doing its thing on OC16 and Olelo, and uploading videos all over YouTube. Check us out and see the links on thinktechhawaii.com. Mahalo.
I'm David Day, the host of Asian Review. This is a Think Tech program in which we take the issues of the Asia-Pacific region, whether they be in business, in foreign policy, in national security, or geopolitics. And we take those issues and we try to probe down in some real depth. Maybe it's not always politically correct, but we get to the truth. We do things that the regular media can't do. And the reason that we can do those things is because we here at Think Tech have the contacts, we have the network, and we can take the time and explore the issues in depth. Tune in every Thursday at 4 p.m. here at Think Tech Hawaii.
Hi, thank you for tuning in. My name is Attila Saras, and I'm the host for Think Tech Fridays. Join us online 24/7, 365 days a year at thinktechhawaii.com. We're talking about things that matter to Hawaii and around the world. My name again is Attila Saras, and I'm the host for Think Tech Fridays. Mahalo.
Thank you, Jack Waters. We're back. We're live. We're Hawaii, the state of clean energy, on Energy Wednesdays. And today we're talking about clean energy down under with Liam O'Neill, a energy service manager, as it were, with Hydro Tasmania, which is the only electrical generation utility in Tasmania.
Yes, that's right.
And we'll take a moment before we go to the last discussion, last point to discuss. We'll take a moment just get a handle on your education, training, how you got into this business. I think it's interesting and instructive for people to know that.
All right.
So,
the same story I just told you during the break?
Yeah, I know it's terrible to have to repeat it, but nobody got that. Now you want to tell them. Tell them now.
You sure about this? So I went to university in Christchurch, New Zealand, and I studied engineering. And first year engineering, it's all the engineers all together, and then you have to choose what stream you want to go down from that point on, from your second year onwards, to finish through to 4 years. And then you've got choices: civil engineering, mechanical engineering, chemical, and the like. And I ended up choosing natural resource engineering because at the time it was the easiest engineering to do that required the least amount of class time and lots of partying. So that's how I ended up getting into that.
I heard it here on Think Tech.
But it ended up being a really good move because I got really into it. There was lots of papers around using natural systems like wetlands to replace things like normal wastewater treatment plants, and lots of stuff around using energy smart. So how to design a house that heats itself, uses the heat of the sun rather than having or maybe shades itself so it doesn't get too hot, things like that. So I finished up 4 years with my bachelor degree, and then I got a job with Hydro Tasmania. So I've been with them 5 years. So I was originally employed as a graduate energy efficiency engineer, and I've been involved in energy efficiency ever since. It's been a really great opportunity.
Yeah, you like it?
Love working for Hydro Tasmania, really great company, so much going on. So we're in the power stations helping them improve their energy efficiency. We're working with our customers, coming up with products that we can sell to them for them to improve their energy efficiency and also drive our business. And also we're out in the community, we do community work, volunteer, we go out and out to poor Tasmanian homes and we install energy efficient equipment, like we replace their lights, we do giraffe proofing, we look at their fridges and we educate them. So it's 3 of the key areas I'm into, and it's been really exciting, all 3.
Makes me want to go down the same path, doesn't it, Ray?
Oh, yeah.
It's a beautiful life in Tasmania.
If we were just 5 years out of school, that'd be great.
If we were just 5 years out of school. Speak for yourself, yeah. Okay, so now I want to talk about what you guys have been talking about, okay? You've been sharing the essence when you met in Nashville, and now here, and tomorrow you'll have a meeting with the PUC and others. What are you talking about? What's the nature of the conversation?
Well, I think first of all, just sharing our experiences, finding out where we are alike, and then where we've gone different paths, and compare the results. Because I was very impressed with the fact that you've talked about how the utility was resistive to all of this efficiency stuff, and now it looks like that they're on board and trying to make money doing the efficiency stuff, and that is of interest to me, and I'm sure it will be something we can discuss tomorrow. But that part is really a way to compare our different companies and what we're trying to do. But we're also looking at sort of how you and the community have interacted. I like that as well, because this is a community effort, especially when you're an island utility and an island environment where you're trying to extract the most renewables out and get them to where the loads are. That's important, and you guys seem to have done it very well. So can you tell us a little bit more about sort of how you rallied the troops, the utility itself? I'm sure the first ones who came over to the other side, so to speak, in terms of really seeing it as a real profit area to go renewable and be renewable. that transition might not have been so easy.
And if you've been there for the past 5 years, you've seen the change. You've seen the sea change happen, yeah?
Yeah, I'm not sure we've had such similar issues, and like the government's been driving energy efficiency for so long that from what I've seen, there's sort of been this sort of let's go, get at it. Some of the generators in Australia are more let's just leave it how it is. You know, it works well. We're making money. Leave it be. But I think Hydro Tasmania has sort of been behind it. But one of the interesting things that me and Ray have been talking about is how to get people on board, because you come up with a solution that you're going to maybe make an island, make use of a renewable resource on an island, which is a great thing to do, really. But that's quite scary to someone who doesn't really understand what's going on. Like, what are you going to do to this island that I live on? I really like the island how it is. Like, stop doing stuff.
We have that here.
Yeah, and that's valid. Like, that's where they live. They don't want all these changes to happen that they don't have any control over. So that's been a really big issue for us, and I was talking to Ray about this, potentially have similar issues here in Hawaii.
So how do you do it?
Well, so with King Island, we've built a lot of stuff there, so it's changed the landscape. And one of the ways we did it, we've actually sent a team, so we sent them to live on King Island. They're playing footy with them, they're at the pub chatting with them, and there's enough time to really build a relationship with some of these people. Yeah, well, you need that. You don't always trust someone who's on the radio talking about something. No, who's maybe
Press and company excluded, of course.
But you're going to trust someone who you're actually living your life with a lot more, that you've had the chance to really sit down and maybe had a meal with and really start to build some trust with them. You're gonna believe them a lot quicker, and you're gonna give yourself the chance to be educated and understand the benefits. So that's been a real key thing that we've learnt, is you can't rush this either, and you've got to listen to the people. So if you give yourself an opportunity to go out and talk to them, and if you can get them on board, and we end up having a vote with King Island if we wanted to proceed. So we got 59% of the people said, yep, okay, let's do it. Then you go do it together. You're going as a team, essentially going to do this.
You mentioned earlier that you did a survey.
Yes.
I'm real interested in that, because there are companies and academicians on the mainland who do that all the time. They go to a community that's considering a renewable project, they take a very thorough survey, do a very careful analysis, and then you know how people really feel. Instead of just hearing the noise, you know exactly what the community feels, or more accurately. What did you do with the survey?
So we gave everybody on King Island the opportunity to vote on whether they want to expand the wind resource to build the largest wind farm in the Southern Hemisphere. And it went to vote, and 59% of the people said, look, that'd be really great, let's do it. And I think one of the big drivers there was that jobs are a big issue in King Island, because there was a large abattoir that had just shut down, actually. So
abattoir, what is it?
Yeah, so a meat works. So there's lots of dairy and cows on this island, and that's where they were processing meat, and that was supporting a lot of jobs. And when that closed down, a lot of people lost their jobs, so they're looking for more job opportunities.
That was very persuasive then.
Yeah, well, if you're building wind farms, there's a lot of work to get these things up, and then you need ongoing jobs to monitor the environmental effects. So making sure it's not having any effects on bird life or anything like that, and then just the maintenance of the turbines themselves.
I think it's clear, Liam, that you can teach us a lot, and that you're ahead of the curve because you're open-minded, and it sounds like a good environment to do creative stuff, and you can bring that to us and show us, and we can learn from that. But my question, though, is what do you think, after this visit anyway, you can learn from us?
Oh, we can learn a lot. This trip in the US has been fantastic. So in California, that's essentially the only place in the world where they've kept energy use per capita exactly the same since the 1970s. So that's huge. Like, the rest of the US has increased by 50% over that time. So they're using 50% more energy per person now than they were in the 1970s. But California has managed to keep that flat. So that's astounding. So things like that. I mean, I'm going to spend a lot more time with Ray tomorrow, and that's where I'll be finding out more about Hawaii. As I said, I flew in about an hour before this radio show started. But
done pretty well, considering.
But there's always things you can learn from other energy markets. There'll be things that are being done fantastically well. For instance, this what was the fridge called again?
The Ritter Fridge.
Ritter Fridge. So that's a great program right there, and the fact that you can donate some of that money to a charity as well. So everybody's doing innovative things, and this whole trip that I've been on, so I've been traveling around the UK before I came to the US, it's just picking up on all the really good ideas and then just copying them and doing them yourself.
Sure.
And in return, I'm happy to share the cool ideas that we've done and happy for people to copy them.
So I have a term for you. May I say that you are, in my view, an energy diplomat?
I like the ring of that. That's got a good ring. Thank you, Jay. I get some business cards, mate.
That's worth a raise. That's Liam O'Neill. He's with Hydro Tasmania. We've been talking about clean energy down under. Ray Starling, my co-host. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Back later with more Think Tech. Aloha, everyone.
Thanks a lot.